Well, welcome everyone. We're really excited to have you here tonight. Thank you for joining us. We hope that wherever you are in the country that you're safe. To our friends in the Southeast who are experiencing that Arctic blast, enjoy it because pretty soon it's just going to be hot and muggy there for you again. So take advantage of your snowflakes that you're getting. Our friends in the Northeast, we know that you're really cold too, so stay nice and warm. And our friends in the Midwest have lots of snow on the ground as well. So the Southwest has been pretty frigid. I know my son is in Las Vegas and it's been in the 20s there in the mornings. So, but then it gets to be nice and sunny and good in the afternoon. And then we also have our friends in the Pacific Northwest where I'm at. We're having unprecedented sunshine, but really cold temperatures. So not a lot of outside playtime for Charlotte and I this time. And then to our friends in Southern California, we pray that you're safe from the fires. For those of you that have been evacuated or lost your homes, our hearts just go out to you. So we just want to make sure that you know that you are in our thoughts. So your presentation team for tonight is we're the Smith sisters. So we learned the other day that Heidi, her maiden name was Smith. So you are going to hear from this little Smith sister group. So we have Heidi Smith Werner, volunteer from Michigan, who's full of great ideas that you're going to want to put into play. Abby Smith is an ACS staff partner from California who will help us with ways to customize a package for a sponsor. I'm Roxy Smith from Oregon, and I love to talk to sponsors and potential sponsors and look for creative ways to get them involved in my event. And we are just here to give you some good ideas tonight. So again, we are the Smith sisters, so hang on and enjoy the ride that we have for you. What you can expect tonight on our next slide is, I got to be able to see that slide too, huh? We're going to talk to you a little bit about who do you ask, how do you ask, what do you pitch, ideas to customize a sponsor ask. We have a sponsor, now what do we do? Our goal that we're setting, and then we're going to have some discussion time. So if you think of questions between now and then, we're going to save that for the discussion time. You can put your questions in the chat, or you can jot them down and then share with us at that time, and that way we'll be able to get through the information to start with. So with that in mind, I am going to turn it over to the Smith sister there, Miss Heidi.
Hi, everyone. So glad you all joined us tonight, and we're hoping you get some great nuggets to take away or some things to share with your teams and start your own brainstorming. So when we ask, who do you ask? You ask everyone, unless it's somebody who doesn't align with our mission and values. So we have a few businesses, people that are selling tobacco, CBD, hemp, tanning salons. Those are not sponsors that align with our mission. So those are not people we want to have sponsoring your event. So as long as they believe in the mission of the American Cancer Society and the values that we all hold, go in and make the ask. And I come from the relay background where every individual person, anybody that was registered, could make a sponsorship ask. And I know some don't do that. So if your event doesn't do that, it might be something you want to think about, because everybody has their own circle of influence and their own places they go and people they're connected to. So we just make sure we have a list of who asks who, and we don't double up on sponsors. But I find it's easier for me to go in and talk to somebody that I know or that I have a relationship with. So as I'm looking, at a list of sponsors and nobody's asking a certain business, I'll try to see if there's a way I can develop that relationship before I just go in and bombard them and ask them for money. So you can go to retail stores, you can go to mom and pop, your local stores, fitness, wellness, auto sales, financial insurance, specialty businesses, healthcare organizations. There are so many places that you can go and make the ask. It can be your hair salon. It can be your barber. It can be the person that does your manicure or pedicure. It can be your neighbor. If you know somebody who's really invested in the mission of ACS, they may want to sponsor. They may want to have their name up as someone who supports the American Cancer Society. So if you don't make the ask, you'll have no sponsors. So we want to help you to learn how to make the ask, how to feel comfortable, and what to do if they say no. So just start making a list of people that you're thinking of as we're going through this call, or businesses that you do, and see how many you come up with by the end of the night, because you'll be amazed at how many opportunities we have. So you may want to make sure you talk to like the general managers or the people in charge, or if you already have the relationship, you may already know who to talk to. So start your list, make it broad, because the more people you ask, the more yeses you're going to get. All right, Abby, you're up.
Can I throw in one thing there?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the specialty businesses, don't discount anybody with that. I've befriended some people that own a really small dairy, and I reached out to them, and they're like, "Yeah, we would love to sponsor you." And they have a little retail shop for their cheeses and their meats and their ice cream and stuff. And they've been great sponsors for me. In fact, this last year was a little bit off, but last year they came on like at over $1,100. They did a give back, they did a little cornhole tournament, and it's just really fun. And I got to kiss the cow, the big Miss TMK. She got to present me with my first check when I was there, and just fun things like that. So don't discount some of those little places that might say yes, because they had cancer in their family and they were really happy to step up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we always like to say, don't say no for them. And you do that when you decide yourself that they can't support you. If they say no, okay, but don't say no before you even ask. So now that you've got an idea or a list of the people that you'd like to ask, how do you ask? We really want to focus in here on the mission. I have worked with countless volunteers, and myself included, who, say, I'm not really comfortable going and asking for money. First and foremost, I want you to really know that you are not asking money for yourself. You're asking money for the mission. And I think that's really important to keep in mind. Focus on the mission and the impact that that business can make in the saving lives. If you're passionate about saving lives, why wouldn't they be passionate about saving lives? And so use that as fuel to really build your confidence to go in and make that ask. Focus on what they can do to impact cancer patients and caregivers and their families, whether it's supporting programs like Road to Recovery or supporting the research that we're doing. Let them know that Relay for Life is a global movement, and that you are supporting one of the most well-known and respected charities in the world by supporting Relay for Life. Relay for Life is the signature fundraising movement for the American Cancer Society, and the American Cancer Society is a very well-known name and brand, so that's really important to remember. Find some shared value between you and the sponsor, whether they are a healthcare organization or an automotive organization. You can really find those tangible connections between a sponsor and our mission, and use that as a way of making the ask. If you go into an auto sales company and say, "Hey, have you ever heard of Road to Recovery? This is a program that the American Cancer Society offers for transportation to and from cancer treatment." And that really relates to what they're doing, and they might find shared value in that. Also, what about your event is special and would make them want to be involved? Consider their employees, and knowing that we know 1 in 3 people are diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. Have they had anybody affected by cancer? Ask them directly. Have you had anybody on your staff team who's been affected by cancer? If the answer is yes, first, always let them know about the services the American Cancer Society provides to them for free, like Road to Recovery, like Hope Lodge, and 24/7 support. I mean, I cannot emphasize that enough, that National Cancer Information Center 24/7 helpline is a life-saving resource. So that's part of building the relationship, is first and foremost, be upfront on what we can offer them and the people that are affected by cancer within their team. Also, considering, again, their employees, there's a lot of organizations out there right now that are looking for opportunities to engage their employees in the community. Relay for Life is a great team building. Obviously, I don't have to tell you guys that, but Relay for Life is a great opportunity for their employees to give back for the day or for more than a day, by getting involved in raising funds all season long. Give your 1 minute pitch about what makes your event special. I know that we're all super passionate and love every single part of our event, but you can also tailor this. So if you know, again, that somebody in their organization's been affected by cancer, maybe part of your 1 minute pitch is really emphasizing the Luminaria ceremony and what it means to the community. Sorry, I got a tickle. Hold on. Or maybe it's the survivor lap, and that's something that they really want to get it. Hold on. You guys know.
You okay, Abby, or you need some help here?
Maybe you should take on.
Okay. So as she was saying, give that 1 minute pitch about what to expect at your event and something that might highlight for them so that they can get more involved that way. And be specific with your ask. If it's something that you are really, really in need of, whether it's a stage sponsor, whether it's if you have somebody that sponsors a kids zone or something like that, you can be really specific with those kinds of asks to try to get them involved based on what their needs are. Share the metrics from your event. How long has your Relay for Life been in your community? How many participants and survivors and teams do you have? What other businesses are already committed? I know last year I was talking with a little tavern over in a little tiny town that's not too far from our event. And when I was talking to the manager there, she says, I want you to go down the road and I want you to talk to the manager and owner at this other one. And I want you to tell him that I want to challenge him for this. So you never know. They might get really excited with somebody else that's already come on as a sponsor for you there. And it might be what will draw them in. So just find the way. Every ask is different. Just like every relayer is different, every survivor is different, every sponsor is different. So just go out there and have a really good time when you're asking people to come on board and lock arms with you in our fight against cancer. Are you still able to do our slides for us, Abby?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
No, when you just get a tickle and it just takes over and you can't help it.
Yep.
The other thing that I was just going to add here is, using your metrics for the event. How long has your Relay for Life event been in your community? Do you know? Do you know when the first one was in your community? Use that to showcase how established this event is and how important it is to the area. And then think about, the number of participants that come out to your event every day or every year. That's exposure for that business to potentially get in new customers. So if your event has 200 people, that's huge. If you have 1,000 people, that's huge for those businesses that want to come out and get to know their community more, especially if they're new to the community. This is a really great introduction for them. How many survivors do you celebrate? How can they get involved in supporting those survivors? Can they offer something for the survivor goodie bags to build, again, more awareness for their organization? How many teams come out? How can they be involved? What are those teams made up of? Do you have teams that are part of local companies in the area that they might be interested in networking with? This came up recently when I was working with a local organization in Santa Clarita, which is one of the relays I work with, where we have a few different businesses that really focus on research and clinical trials in our community. They're super interested in getting to know some of the doctors in the area. They might have the doctors could come and use their facilities to conduct their own research. Or if it is a pharmaceutical company that wants to get in front of some doctors and let them know about this drug that they are working on to support cancer patients. A lot of times businesses are really excited and interested in getting involved in your event if they know that there's other businesses that they're interested in networking with, and we can kind of be the door opener for that. They might want to get more involved. And then you might have mentioned this already, Roxy, but sharing your why relay story. Every single one of us is here and a volunteer for the American Cancer Society because we've been affected by cancer in some way, shape, or form. Again, 1 in 3 people are diagnosed in their lifetime. So I'd be hard pressed to find anyone that has not been touched by cancer. Maybe not directly, maybe not in their close-knit family, but they've seen it impact their community in some way, shape, or form. And sharing your story can be super impactful, especially if it's relatable to the sponsor themselves. The other thing that I want to mention, and I should have mentioned it previously when we were talking about who do you ask, don't think that only businesses can be sponsors. If you know a family who has a foundation, they can be a sponsor, or just an individual who'd really like to give a big donation. They can be a sponsor too. It doesn't have to be, just somebody that's licensed to have a business. Foundations are really great avenues too for support, in, honor of a loved one. If you know that there's a local family in your community who maybe a member of their family passed away from cancer and they've decided to create a foundation in their name, that could be a really great option to get them involved in Relay. The other thing I'll add before we move on to the next slide is really, from the very beginning of making the ask, is you want this to be a partnership. It's not just a transactional, you know, transaction, if you will. It's all about building a relationship with these organizations and letting them know how we can support them, and how they can support the fight against cancer. Okay, I'll go to the next one.
All right, you know who to talk to, you know how to talk to them. So now what do you pitch? What are the important things that they need to know about? So I know if you're looking at some businesses that you're not really familiar with, I highly recommend you go online and look at their website, look at their mission statement, their vision statement, see what is important to them, because then you might have an understanding of how their goals will align with ACS in, discovery for, our research, for our patient support, which is our education and our services, and then our advocacy that's so important for all of us to have our screenings covered. Are any of those things really important to that business? And if so, that's a really good avenue that you can start with your pitch that way. What are their goals for their community outreach and their outreach and their brand exposure? And how can we accomplish those goals as their partner? What are they looking for? I know some of them, and Abby already mentioned this, where there's a lot of team building things that go on, where businesses want teams of people to get out and become part of events or part of cleanups or part of whatever might be going on. But if you can find out what their outreach is and how they want to get their name associated with something, I'm just going to jump down real quick to that. Enhancing their brand, at 85% of consumers have a more positive image of a company when it supports a cause that they care about, because that's just super, super important. So what do we want to do with their value of their business? We want to foster loyalty to their business, boost their sales, and again, enhance their brand. How many of you go to businesses just because they're a sponsor? I know I do. And how many of you don't go to businesses that have told you no? I know that I am one of those people. It's just like, do I have an opportunity to make a choice here and to impact what is important to me and what I believe in strongly? Those are the businesses that are going to get my following, that are going to get my money. I'm going to go to dinner at those restaurants that support us, and I'm not going to go to the ones that have told me no. I may occasionally, but not on a regular basis. Share the impact of what their dollars will do. They need to know where all that goes. You guys know about our Charity Navigator, where we are just really high on the list. We put our money where our mouth is. We do not put our money we're not top heavy like some other organizations are, where it goes to lots of admin stuff. We're going to talk about that here in just one more second, but our money goes to our mission. And we just want people to know that their dollars make a huge difference. And I know Abby's already pointed out the 800 number. We fund that, and it's so important. I just gave it out today to somebody that told me that their husband was diagnosed with cancer. I said, please call this 800 number. I said, this is something we work really, really hard to fund, so that a friendly voice answers 24/7, 365. Said, you will not be sad, and you will not be disappointed if you make that call. So, and then customize their sponsor proposal to meet their needs, I think is what that says. I can't see the bottom of my slide here, but you have ways to do that. You don't have to offer everybody the same thing. If you haven't figured that out, please get with your staff partners so that you can see that that's customizable for each and every sponsor if you want to do something different. If they're not really big into having some signs somewhere, maybe there's something else that will be really, really good for them. So just take some time and get to know that sponsor and work on that relationship, because the relationship is what will get you longevity. And that's our ultimate goal. All right, I'm going to turn it back to Abby.
And before I move to the next slide, I just want to quick check here on this one. How many of you have gone to a business that said no to you because they only support local organizations or local nonprofits? Has anybody heard that already before? Okay. So a different way of thinking about it is every single Relay for Life, somebody can correct me, but to my knowledge, without fail, every single Relay for Life event is planned by local volunteers for the local community. You can't get any more local than that, right? So I really want to emphasize that we are making a local impact and we are a local nonprofit. We support every single person in every community through options like our services, like our 1-800 number, Road to Recovery, Hope Lodges. Even if you don't have a Hope Lodge in your state, there are likely people in your area or in your state who have benefited from using a Hope Lodge, because often Hope Lodges are used by individuals who need to travel far from home to be able to have access to lodging. We're also planning these Relay for Life events. A huge part of it, one of the pillars of Relay for Life, is to celebrate survivors and caregivers. We're celebrating the survivors and caregivers in our local community. You might do it in different ways, whether it's by hosting a survivor dinner, or giving out goodie bags, or having some activation the day of your event. But in any way that you do it, you're building community with local survivors, connecting them in with local volunteers who are passionate about helping them. So there's nothing that's not local about what we're doing here, and really making an impact in supporting cancer survivors and their families. You can also work with your staff partner to find out, are there any research grants that are being funded in your state? And maybe that's a way to showcase how the dollars are staying local and they are making an impact in your community.
Very good. Thank you very much for adding that stuff in, Abby. And I know a lot of, we don't have, it used to be that every little community had the relays, and then we went to merging a lot of events. And now a lot of them are countywide. You can get information on, how many ride to recoveries or how many phone calls or how many hits on the website and stuff like that come from your county. You cannot necessarily get it from each small city. But I know that we encounter that too, where we have one local gym that is like, well, it doesn't benefit our city. Yeah, it does. Aren't we part of Clackamas County? We're getting that, so then our job is to educate them to see the bigger picture. So, yeah. So very good.
Yeah, these are all things that you can ask your staff partner for, and they'll be able to pull metrics on, what services are really being utilized in your county. So yeah, that's a really great point. Okay, moving on. So we hinted a little bit about this, about customizing your sponsor ask. An idea that came to me recently from another event was, I'm going to drop down here to a lower bullet, but look at your sponsorship packet. Do you still have gold, silver, bronze levels? Those are kind of boring, right? We've had those for a really long time. So try different names that really align what you're asking for with our mission. Something like a prevention sponsor or an early detection sponsor, maybe even a Hope Lodge sponsor, mission sponsor, something that really connects your ask to our mission, and the donor or sponsor or business, whatever it is, can really feel like they're making a direct impact on those efforts and on our mission. Are there any items or areas or parts of your event that a sponsor could claim exclusively in their sponsorship? Thinking like your survivor and caregiver area, can you have Joe Schmo's car dealership be the sponsor for our caregivers in our survivor tent? What about your mission booth or the Luminaria booth? Luminaria booth is probably one of the most occupied and attended booths that you have at your event. That would be a huge place for a sponsor to be able to hang a banner that says, we sponsor this area of Relay for Life, and thank you to so-and-so sponsor for making it happen. Whether or not they made it happen, I know the volunteers and you guys are making it happen, but that really is a valuable thing to offer to a sponsor when you're making the ask. Do you have a Road to Recovery lap or a team lap or some other theme specific laps that you guys do at your event? What if the sponsor could say that they sponsored the lap and you could give them shout outs from the stage, or whatever system that you have utilizing for your event to shout them out during the day? And even before your event. One successful item that we've done before, in one of the relays that I support, is we had a Grand Club sponsor. So what that means is we had somebody who donated, and throughout the season, we would give shout outs on social media to the volunteers who have already entered the Grand Club or the All-Star Club. All-Star, is it club? I think it's club. And we would post about them on our Facebook page or in our Facebook group and make up a little picture in Canva that has everybody's names on it and that it says, thank you to XYZ company for being our Grand Club recognition sponsor. And what's really important too is ask the sponsors what they think is important. Roxy mentioned, some sponsors might like having their logo on a sign displayed at your event. Some sponsors might not care about signage. Some sponsors really, really care about social media visibility. Or some sponsors really care about the ability to speak in front of your attendees at Relay for Life. Or some sponsors, really care about having their logo listed on your website year round, or being in the program book so that when people come home after their event, they're still getting exposure in that program book they take home. Ask them really what they care about, because every business is going to value something different, and that'll really help make these asks customized and unique to that individual business. Again, it's all about the relationship. You're not walking in and just saying, here's our packet, pick one. It really is a matter of how can I help fulfill the goals that you have for community exposure and awareness, and how can we work on them together? If the business is really focused on getting exposure in one neighborhood over the other in your community, how can you help by putting out extra signs in that area that showcase your events coming up and this is a sponsor that's supporting it? So again, just don't be afraid to ask a sponsor what is important to them and what they value when it comes to community outreach, and that you can be there to help fulfill that with them and be their partner.
Great information. All right, you have some sponsors now. What do you do? Well, your first and foremost priority is to thank them, thank them, thank them. It is so important to thank your sponsors, doing it verbally, doing it with recognition on your website, your social media, printed materials, track signs, whatever you want. But your job is to build that relationship. The stronger your relationship, the more longevity you're going to have, and possibly they will even come up in their sponsorship levels. I know one of my friends that helps with sponsorship for my event, she had one that was a $250 sponsor. And 2 years ago, they jumped to $1,000. And it's because the guy lost his dad to cancer. And he had a relationship with this woman for decades. And so he trusted her and he just wanted to give more money. So don't be afraid to do that. And building those relationships is going to get you the places that you want to be. Invite them to your event. If you don't already do that, make it very personal, whether it's a phone call, an invitation that you send out. And I'll have an example for that on the next slide in a minute. It's just really, really important that they know that you value them and that you want them at your event. They think, well, I gave my money. That's my part to Relay. Well, it's not. We want to have them there. We want them to be visible. We want people to see, oh, this is a gold level sponsor. This is really cool that they're here. A VIP tent at Relay is really cool. We did that this last year. We did it for some high fundraisers, and then we also had our area for our sponsors. And we only had a couple show up, but you know what? Those people were so impressed by the fact that they were invited. They got some special goodies that were there, some special drinks, special coffee drinks and stuff that we were serving, and they networked with each other, and we just had the best time. And I'm hoping that this year we have a ton of sponsors there, because it was such a fun thing to have at Relay. And I would really encourage you for looking for something like that. You can have it be a lounge or a VIP tent or whatever it is that you want to make it be. Of course, we offer banners and signs if it's for their appropriate level. And then keep that good communication going with them. Don't just go in one time and ask for money and then don't go back again until the next relay rolls around. If a restaurant is a sponsor, I've got one in my town. He's been a sponsor. This is the 25th year of my community and be involved in relay. He's been a sponsor all 25 years. And so when I go in there, I'm like, hey, Sergio, it's nice to see you tonight. It's like, I talk to his wife. I talk to his kids if they're working there that night. I said, I want him to know that I'm giving him my business and I'm keeping that communication open. He's like, when do I get my sponsor packet? It's like, oh, it'll be coming. Well, this year we got really smart. And when we took our thank yous out, we put the 25 opportunity in the sponsor folder. They were so excited that they didn't have to wait for us to come back again. And we've already got one that was turned in. So we're just super excited about that. So keep that communication line open and keep it flowing and keep it really, really good and positive and supportive to their business as well as them back to you. And then give them the data to support their investment. Where does their money go? I'm going to show you an example on that here in a second, but here on this page, I just want to show you, these are a couple examples of some things that we did for thank yous. That the first one there, the little purple one, it says, we do not, KNOT, know what we would do without you. And we gave them, they had little bags of pretzels that were really, really fun. Thank you for fueling our mission. We just did drive out cancer last year, and we had little bags of trail mix for their fuel. Thank you for your commitment. You can use gum. You can use little York peppermint patties. I think Abby said she used, and we used little Andes mints one time with that. It's just really, really fun to be able to give them something to do that. But on the next slide, we'll show you a little bit more of the data to support their investment. So if you want to forward us, there you go. That one in the middle, the Start Your Engines, that was a sponsor invitation. Again, we did drive out cancer, so we sent this out to the sponsors and we wanted to rev things up for them. And it was just really fun. And they also got a little lanyard that had track signs, stuff like that on it, a little Start Your Engines. So it was just really fun to do that and make them feel special. That one over there to the left that starts with thanks to you, we personalized that for each and every sponsor that we had. So their name went right under that thanks to you. And it shows what they did within our community or within our relay and our state, because the impact that they have in there is really great. And my event is a little bit unique because it covers 2 counties. It's just kind of crazy that where we're at. So it's just really neat when you can be able to show them, this is what your money did. This is how many rides you helped sponsor. This is how many hits on the website you helped sponsor. This is how many phone calls you helped sponsor. That this is how much money went to research. And we're also very fortunate because we have we have got Oregon State University, which does research for cancer. We have our Oregon Health and Sciences University, which does a lot. We've got the Knight Cancer Institute. So we're very, very fortunate that our money that we raise for that research stays local for us, which is really kind of cool knowing that in the state of Oregon. And then over there on the right is that give with confidence. So teaching them and educating them on the fact that 81% out of their dollar, 81 cents out of every dollar that they donate is going to the mission. So we're so proud of that and so excited by that. If you have not seen that, make sure you get a copy of that from your staff partner. We put these in our sponsor packets because again, it shows where their money is going and showing that impact that it's having on them. They want to know that it's just not going to, again, to be a top heavy thing, or it's not just going to the food, which we usually get donated, but this is going to our programs and services, which is just really exciting and something that I know that every time I talk to a sponsor that I'm just so proud of. So just make sure that you do all those kinds of things and educate them. It's all about educating when you're locking arms with somebody who wants to fight cancer with you.
All right. So your goal, my goal, all of our goals is to create and maintain a long-term relationship with those committed sponsors. And if you're just beginning that journey, you've gotten some great ideas tonight on how to start building that relationship. If you have long-term relationships already, maybe you've gotten some new ideas on ways to thank them or things to include when you give them thanks, how you can make sure they're a part of your community. So we're really hoping that you all got something out of this call, to help you start building your relationships with those sponsors, because that's how we help your events grow, is getting your local community invested in your local event. All right, now anybody with questions, comments? We're here.
Anybody have any ideas that have, you've done that's been really unique in your community that's worked really well? Share it with the rest of us, because we always love to steal ideas from each other.
Go ahead, Pam, take yourself off mute.
So after the 2024 relay, we sent certificates of appreciation to all of our sponsors. We have sponsors from $5,000 to $100 because we have 6 counties that we cover. And a lot of them are small businesses. And like you said, some of them are just family foundations, but they want to give and be recognized. So anyway, we sent these thank you notes out and with the certificates. And one of the sponsors mailed me a check. She was a $250 sponsor. She mailed me a $1,000 check.
That's awesome,
Nice.
Pam.
And, so it was just like, it did take a lot of work for us to create these little certificates of appreciation. When you go into their business and you see it hanging on the wall, I become even more proud relayer that, it's just like, we are impacting these businesses and their communities and their businesses and people who come in to support them see that. So, but one question I have, and maybe I shouldn't say it out loud, is they didn't send back the commitment form. I have the check, but I don't have the commitment form. So, but on the check, she wrote 2025 sponsor. So it's one of those, it's like I got the, cart before the horse maybe, but.
No, it's okay. We have that a lot where some send it back, some don't. Are we sticklers for it? Not at my relay, but I think some are. That if they don't have the paper, you got to keep asking and stuff for that. But
yeah,
just work with your staff partner. If it's a reach out that you just need to do, or you can stop in. If it's someplace that you can stop in and just have them fill it out, you can fill most of it out and just have them sign it.
Well, and that's what I've done, and I've also given it to the relayer who is responsible for bringing it in.
Yeah, they
so,
should.
I figure in time, it's just kind of like, let's just enjoy where we are and reveling that we have one sponsor already this year.
That's great.
That's not till
Yeah,
August,
congratulations.
So. Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, thank you. Sorry, Charlotte needed me for a second.
Anybody else have any other, big wins like that have really, you've seen the success of the work that you've done of going out to really give them a good thanks, or, ways that you've gotten unique and different in bringing in new sponsors that maybe hadn't been involved before, but you had some great success?
Don't be shy. We would love to hear from you. We want to learn something tonight too.
Well, I'll just share if I don't know if every event out there, if you have access to things like, your purple chairs or a purple arch or something like that, that's another unique thing that a sponsor could, have a banner on and really showcase their support, because those are, some of the most photographed things at a relay event. When people come out and want to take a picture at your event, it's usually when they're sitting on that big chair. Or, if you have a local print company that's willing to print, I think they're called step and repeats, those big walls that you can walk in front of and take a picture at your event, or a photo booth. You could have a sponsor be a photo booth sponsor. If you find a local company that has a photo booth, maybe they'd be willing to donate their time for the day and give that to you in kind. Or if you find a sponsor who could help sponsor it, and then they could have their logo on the printouts, the pictures that get printed out that people take home with them. Just different ideas. Again, think outside of the box. Every, piece or thing about your event that makes it special could potentially be a thing that could be used as a sponsorship mechanism. Yeah, Pam, go ahead.
So one thing that we did last year is we joined the local Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce. It's like $100, but the third Thursday of every month, I don't remember what it is, they have a coffee and chamber or something like that, and they get it sponsored by Dutch Brothers. But there's probably 100 to 120 people that show up. And they're really good about giving us like a 2-minute pitch, you know, so
Mhm.
we can get up there, talk about our event, and then mingle the room and talk to all these different business owners or other nonprofits so that we can partner with it and kind of come up with our own little commerce. So we found that that's been really helpful as well to, you know, again, get ourselves out in the community. Because we're so spread out, we can't necessarily pound the pavement quickly, but the chamber is a one way to go in one room and get in front of a bunch of people.
I'm really
That's
glad that you
awesome,
mentioned
Kat.
that. I'm glad that
Yeah.
you mentioned that because I've been involved in a couple chambers, and I don't know if every chamber does this, but only one that I've been involved with. I've gone to like chamber mixers before, and they give out what they call a hot sheet, which has the names and the emails and the businesses of all the people that came to that chamber mixer. So now I have this perfect contact list to go home with, and the next day I can send out email outreach. And even if I didn't talk to them directly, because it's really hard to talk to all those people when you go to, you know, one of those kind of gatherings, you know, you can say, "I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to you, but I would love to connect with you in the future, or if we can set up a time to meet next week and let you know about what Relay for Life is all about." So yeah, getting involved with your chamber is a great idea. Even if they don't have those kind of hot sheets, you can ask the chamber directly if they can give something like that to you, because you know they have a directory to then be able to get that out to you.
That's awesome. And they also might send out flash emails and stuff like
Yeah.
that. We have that happen with us. And also one of the thing, and this is kind of coming up this year quite a bit for my local relay, is we're looking at what businesses in all the different communities. Again, we span across 2 counties. So what businesses are sponsoring other events?
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, hadn't thought about reaching out to them, but they sponsor, you know, this little triathlon thing that's going on over here or something. And so now we're going, okay, maybe there's somebody that has been touched by cancer. So they're on our list to reach out to because obviously they want to get involved in their community. So, and you can find some of that stuff, with different events and stuff like that through your chamber and stuff too, like Pam has
Absolutely.
been talking about. Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Well, Heidi, you want to close us out?
Sure. Well, we want to thank all of you who took time out of your night to join us. If you have relayers who weren't able to join us, this will eventually be put out. The recording will be put out on the ACS resources where other people can go and listen to it and learn. Thank you, Pam, for your input. We know it's sometimes hard to come off mute and talk, but we appreciate everybody who shares their ideas. And we really just want to empower you all to be able to go out and make the ask. So if you're struggling with that, reach out to your staff partner or another relayer, and maybe you can practice together to make the ask so you're not afraid of the no. A no may be just not now. Maybe they would do something for your silent auction, or maybe they'll donate something for your survivor goodie bag. So don't leave without giving them a few options. You know, getting the door opened and maybe they do something where they donate an in-kind or things like that gets them thinking about you and make sure they feel loved, and they may turn around in a few years and become a sponsor. So feel good about yourself every time you walk in the door and you make that ask, because we know it's not easy. It's not easy for me, but we all feel so passionate about this that you should be proud every time you go in and share your story and make the ask and spread the mission of the American Cancer Society. So thank you for your time. And I see Laura adding a Luminaria bag to a sponsorship ask is a great way to be able to go back into the door, you know, go back and check on the bag and see if they've decorated it and check on them. And it's just good conversation starters. So thank you all. Everybody have a great night and stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.